The Galactic Council chamber fell silent when Orla stepped through the crystalline archway, her Valorian scales shimmering like polished emeralds under the phosphorescent lights. Behind her walked Riza, her human husband, drawing stares from every species present. "The mighty Orla brings her pet," whispered a Krethian diplomat, mandibles clicking with amusement. Orla's crest flared, but Riza placed a gentle hand on her arm. "It's fine," he said quietly, though his jaw tightened. For 3 cycles Orla had endured the mockery. Her marriage to a human had scandalized Valorian high society. Humans were Category 7 on the Sentient Capability Index, barely above the threshold for spacefaring civilizations. No natural armor, no venom glands, no telepathic abilities. Their homeworld was a paradise compared to the hellscapes that had forged the stronger races. They hadn't earned their strength through evolution's crucible. Ambassador Orla, High Arbiter Zelthon's voice boomed from the elevated platform, the ancient Krethian's 4 eyes fixed on her with barely concealed disdain. "You requested this emergency session. The Council hopes you have not wasted our time with domestic matters." "The Vraxian Armada has breached the Outer Rim," Orla announced, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hearts. 17 colonies destroyed. 3 million dead. The chamber erupted in chaos. The Vraxians were demons from the void, a hive-minded species that consumed entire worlds, leaving nothing but drifting husks. They hadn't been seen in civilized space for 2 centuries. "Impossible," spat General Korath, his Draken form radiating heat waves. "Our defense grid would have detected them." "They've adapted," Riza spoke up, pulling out a holographic projector. Images filled the air, wreckage, analysis, tactical data. "They're using quantum phase cloaking. Our sensors can't track them until they're already firing." Korath's laugh was volcanic. "And what would a human know of Vraxian technology? Stick to your paintings and poetry, little mammal." Riza's expression didn't change, but Orla saw his hand drift unconsciously toward the sword sheathed at his hip, the one weapon he always carried. It looked ancient, almost ceremonial, with a worn leather grip and a simple crossguard. She'd asked about it once. He'd only said it was a family heirloom. "The human makes a valid point," said Counselor Thessia, her telepathic voice resonating in everyone's minds. The Scion's luminous form flickered thoughtfully. "But we cannot fight what we cannot see. The Vraxian swarm will overwhelm us before we adapt countermeasures. Then we evacuate the rim sectors," Zelthon declared. "Consolidate our forces at—" The lights died. Emergency systems kicked in, bathing the chamber in crimson. Alarms shrieked. Through the massive viewports, space itself seemed to tear open as thousands of Vraxian ships materialized, their organic hulls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns. "They found us," Orla breathed. "The Council planet, the heart of galactic civilization, under direct assault." The first kinetic strike hit the planetary shield, sending shockwaves through the building. Counselors scattered, some teleporting away, others rushing toward escape craft. "Orla, we need to go," Riza said, his voice calm in the pandemonium. They ran through collapsing corridors, energy blasts tearing through walls. A section of ceiling gave way, and Riza shoved Orla aside, taking the debris across his back. He grunted but kept moving. "You're injured." "I'm fine, move." They emerged onto an observation deck, just as 3 Vraxian shock troopers phased through the walls, towering insectoid nightmares with bladed limbs and acid-dripping maws. The guards were already dead. Orla's combat implants activated, extending energy claws from her forearms. She was a decorated warrior, trained since hatching. But 3 Vraxians, even she would struggle. The first one lunged. Orla met it head-on, her claws tearing through chitin, but the second was already flanking. Its blade arm descended toward her spine. Then Riza was there. He'd drawn his sword, that ancient, unremarkable blade. Except now it sang. The metal ignited with blue-white fire that didn't burn with heat but with something else. Something that made reality itself seem to flinch. The blade passed through the Vraxian's arm as if it were smoke. The limb disintegrating into ash, the creature screamed, a sound that shattered 3 viewports. Riza moved like water, like thunder, like nothing Orla had ever seen. The sword left trails of light in the air, and everywhere it touched, Vraxians dissolved. Not cut, unmade. The third shock trooper tried to retreat, but Riza's blade extended. A lance of pure luminescence that crossed 50 meters in an instant. Silence fell, broken only by Orla's ragged breathing. "What?" she started. Riza's sword dimmed but didn't extinguish entirely, its glow pulsing in time with his heartbeat. "My people have a saying," he said softly. "We're not strong because our world was easy. We're strong because we made our own monsters, fought them, and learned. That weapon, humanity didn't reach the stars through evolution, Orla. We reached them through stubbornness. This sword is old, very old, from before we even left Earth." He looked at the blade, ancient runes visible now along its length, pulsing with that strange light. "My ancestors called it many things, but its real name is human will. It only lights up when everything's on the line." Through the shattered viewports, the Vraxian fleet swarmed. Thousands of ships. "Can you—" Orla couldn't finish the question. Riza smiled, the same gentle smile he wore when they drank morning tea, when he tended his garden, when he made her laugh with his terrible jokes. He stepped toward the viewport, toward the void, toward impossible odds. The sword's light grew brighter. "Watch me light up the heavens," he said, and he leaped.